Eli stepped off the transport shuttle and took a deep breath. The new human-alien exchange program at Nova City University was more real than he had imagined. Students from different planets were everywhere, some human, some not. His heart raced with excitement and nerves. This was his chance to experience something extraordinary. He adjusted his backpack and looked at the university dorms. They were sleek, tall buildings made of glass and metal, reflecting the morning sun. Each dorm room had been carefully prepared to host alien students alongside humans. Eli had read the welcome packet multiple times, but nothing could prepare him for what he was about to see. When he reached his room, he paused. The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Zira, his alien roommate. Zyra was tall and graceful, with smooth, pale blue skin that shimmered faintly under the light. Her eyes were large and golden, with tiny specks that glowed when she moved. Her hair, or what looked like hair, flowed like soft, liquid silver, moving gently even without wind. "Hello," Eli said, his voice a mix of excitement and hesitation. "I'm Eli, your roommate." Zira tilted her head slightly. "Greetings, Eli. I am Zyra of Veora," she said in a calm, melodic tone. Her voice sounded like music, soft but clear. "I am unprepared." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Unprepared? For college?" Zira blinked slowly, and a small shimmer of light pulsed from her skin. "For human habitation, my body reacts." Before Eli could ask what she meant, the room flickered with soft golden sparks. A stack of his notebooks floated a few inches off the floor, spinning slowly. Eli jumped back. Don't worry, I can, catch them." He grabbed the floating notebooks, trying not to knock them into the wall. Zira's golden eyes focused on him. "I apologize, it is the mating season." Eli froze. "Mating season, right?" "Of course." He nodded slowly, unsure how to respond. He had read about Veoran biology, but seeing it happen in his dorm room was a different matter. "During mating season, my energy surges," Zyra explained. "It affects the surroundings. It is natural. It is not harmful if controlled." Eli tried to act calm. "Okay, energy surges. Got it." In his head, he panicked. Floating objects, glowing skin, mysterious sounds. It was going to be a long semester. Zyra studied him carefully. "You are calm. This is unusual." Eli forced a smile. "I guess I'm just curious. I've never had an alien roommate before." Zyra tilted her head again and emitted a soft hum. It sounded like a happy sigh. Eli took it as a good sign. The next few hours were strange. Zyra showed him how her body sometimes emitted faint lights or created small gravity shifts. Eli was fascinated, trying to observe everything without touching anything fragile. He learned that Zyra's biological energy could move small objects, change the room's temperature, or even create soft pulses of sound that resonated through the walls. Eli tried to be helpful. He rearranged his things, moving fragile items away from Zyra's usual spots. "Better safe than sorry," he muttered. Zyra watched silently, occasionally shifting her glowing hands in appreciation. By evening, Eli was exhausted but still curious. He had dinner in the common area with other human and alien students, but his mind kept returning to Zyra and the strange phenomena she caused. Floating notebooks, glowing skin, subtle vibrations in the room. It was amazing and slightly terrifying. When he returned to the dorm, he found Zyra sitting on her bed, humming a low, melodic tune. "Eli," she said softly, "your presence stabilizes me. I feel less chaotic." Eli sat on his bed across from her. "I'm glad. I want to help if I can." Zyra's eyes glimmered. "Help, yes. You can observe and you can adapt. That is human strength." "Human strength?" Eli asked, curious. Zyra nodded, a small pulse of light running along her arms. "Humans are adaptable. You think quickly. You solve problems creatively. These traits are impressive to my species." Eli smiled, feeling proud. "Thanks, I guess." He paused. "But I'm still trying to figure out how to keep my room from floating away." Zyra's soft laugh was musical. "We will manage. You are patient. That helps." The next morning brought new challenges. Eli woke to find his alarm clock hovering above his bed, spinning slowly. Zyra was in the corner, meditating. "Energy rising," she said simply. "Right. Rising," Eli muttered, trying not to sound panicked. He carefully grabbed the clock and set it down. "Do you want me to move things?" "No," Zyra said. observe, learn, adapt. You are learning quickly. Over the next few days, Eli discovered that Zira's mating season was not just physical, it was emotional and mental too. She sometimes seemed sad or anxious for no apparent reason, or excited and full of energy at odd times. The room's environment changed with her moods. Air currents swirled, lights flickered, and small objects floated or shimmered. Eli learned to adapt. He kept a notebook with him to record observations, noting when Zira's energy would surge, what triggered it, and how long it lasted. Slowly, he started to predict her moods. If Zira glowed faintly blue, it meant she was anxious. Golden sparks meant she was excited. Purple shimmer meant her energy was about to surge. One evening, a large surge hit without warning. Eli ducked as floating papers whirled around him. Zira's eyes were closed, her hands moving in slow, precise motions. Eli remembered a tip from his notebook. Focus on calm energy. Mirror the pulse. He took a deep breath and moved his hands slowly, trying to match Zira's rhythm. To his surprise, the room stabilized. The papers floated gently back to the floor and the glowing lights dimmed. Zira opened her eyes, looking at him with a mix of astonishment and gratitude. You controlled the surge, she said. Her voice was soft, amazed. Humans are exceptional, Eli grinned. I guess teamwork works across species too. Zira tilted her head. Teamwork, yes, you learn quickly. That night, Eli lay in bed staring at the ceiling. He realized this semester would be unlike anything he had ever experienced. Living with an alien roommate during mating season was strange, chaotic, and sometimes overwhelming. But it was also exciting. He was learning more than he had ever imagined. Not just about aliens, but about humans too. Humans were clever, adaptable, and curious. They could observe, learn, and solve problems in ways other species might not expect. Eli felt proud, even a little humbled. As he drifted to sleep, he heard Zira humming softly nearby. The room shimmered faintly, but Eli didn't panic. He had learned the rhythm, the signs, the small ways to help her stay calm. And for the first time, he felt ready for whatever this interstellar exchange would throw at him. Because despite the chaos, he knew one thing. Humans could handle almost anything, and maybe, just maybe, they could help aliens do the same. The next morning, Eli woke to a soft hum that filled the room. At first, he thought it was the university's air system. But then he noticed the faint shimmer of golden light around Zira's form. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, her eyes closed, fingers moving in slow, circular motions. Morning, Eli said quietly, careful not to startle her. Zira opened her golden eyes and tilted her head. Morning, Eli. You slept well? I did. Mostly, he said, glancing at the notebook floating above his bed. Although my alarm clock seems to have a mind of its own again. Zira's lips curved into a soft smile. It learns from you. Your calm presence helps stabilize it. Eli raised an eyebrow. My calm presence, huh? I'll take that as a compliment. For the first hour, the dorm room remained relatively peaceful. Eli brewed some coffee and tried to eat breakfast while carefully avoiding the floating utensils. Zira watched silently, occasionally letting small sparks of light drift over the floor. You adapt quickly, Zira said. Your species. Remarkable, calm, observant. You help, Eli chuckled. I'm just figuring things out. You're the one controlling glowing lights and moving objects with your mind. Zira's gaze softened. This is normal for my kind, but not in human environments. I need control. I can't appreciate your help. By mid-morning, however, things began to spiral. Eli was organizing his textbooks when a sudden surge of energy pulsed through the room. Papers lifted into the air. Pencils spun like tiny satellites, and his coffee cup hovered a foot above the table. Eli ducked instinctively. Zira's hands glowed brightly, her energy spiraling outward in a wave. Surge! Uncontrolled, she said, her voice strained. I cannot contain it alone. Eli froze for a moment, then remembered the technique he had used the night before. He took a deep breath, mimicked Zira's hand movements as best he could, and tried to match the rhythm of her energy pulses. Slowly, the room responded. The floating papers drifted gently back to the floor, pencils landed softly on the desk, and the coffee cup returned upright. Zira opened her eyes and looked at him with awe. You learned. You controlled it. Eli wiped his sweaty palms on his pants. I guess. I'm a quick learner. Zira gave a soft hum of approval. Humans. Impressive. You adapt to chaos. My species rarely sees this. For the next few days, Eli and Zyra settled into a routine. He would observe her energy patterns, noting when she seemed anxious, excited, or nearing a surge. Zyra, in turn, began to trust him more, allowing him to assist during smaller surges. It wasn't always smooth. One afternoon, Eli tried to cook a simple meal, scrambled eggs and toast, but accidentally triggered a small energy spike. The eggs hovered above the pan, glowing with a golden light, while the toast spun like a frisbee. Eli ducked and grabbed a pan lid just in time. Zyra laughed, a soft, melodic sound that made the floating food appear almost magical. Your cooking methods? Hazardous, she said, smiling. But amusing. Eli grinned sheepishly. I'll take amusing over destructive. Over time, Eli noticed patterns in Zyra's behavior. When she glowed faintly blue, it meant she was anxious or unsure. Golden sparks meant excitement, and a deep purple shimmer signaled that a large energy surge was imminent. By observing and predicting these changes, Eli began helping Zyra manage her surges more effectively. One evening, Zyra suddenly stood and began moving in a strange, rhythmic pattern across the room. Her hands traced arcs in the air, leaving trails of golden light. I perform ritual, she explained. Mating, ritual, energy. Peak. Eli watched carefully, remembering his notebook. The ritual seemed dangerous, but also beautiful. He realized the movements were precise and deliberate, almost like a dance. As he mirrored her motions, carefully imitating the flow of her hands and energy pulses, the room stabilized. The floating objects stopped spinning and the golden light softened. You help again, Zyra said quietly. Your presence? Grounding, Eli smiled. I'm just trying to keep the room from falling apart. Zyra's laugh was musical. You, more than that. You adapt. You care. For the first time, Eli felt a deep sense of pride. He wasn't just surviving Zyra's mating season, he was helping her through it. And in doing so, he realized something important. Humans had a unique strength. They could observe, think, and adapt in ways that other species sometimes could not. The following morning brought an unexpected challenge. Eli woke to find that Zyra's energy was unusually high. Papers floated faster than usual, lights flickered, and a soft hum resonated through the walls. Peak energy, Zyra said, her golden eyes wide. I need focus, Eli nodded. Okay, focus. We can do this together. As Zyra began her ritual, Eli mirrored her movements, matching her energy pulses with calm determination. Slowly, the chaotic energy in the room began to stabilize. The papers floated gently back to the desk, lights dimmed, and the soft hum faded. Eli felt a rush of exhilaration. You succeed, Zyra said, her voice full of gratitude. Human extraordinary, Eli laughed. Thanks, I guess humans can handle almost anything. Zyra's glow softened. Yes, you think creatively. Adapt, solve problems, my species. Impressed. Over the next few days, Eli became more confident. He learned to anticipate Zyra's needs, creating small routines to help her manage her energy. He moved fragile objects, created soft barriers with pillows and blankets, and even experimented with using small gadgets to channel energy safely. One afternoon, Eli had an idea. Zyra, what if we made a safe ritual space? A place where your energy can flow freely without causing chaos? Zyra's eyes lit up. Safe ritual space? Explain. Eli pointed to a corner of the room. We can clear this area, put down mats, and use small sensors or gadgets to guide your energy. That way, if a surge happens, it stays contained. Zyra's golden eyes gleamed. You think creatively, humans. Remarkable. Yes, let us try. Together, they transformed a corner of the dorm room. Eli carefully arranged mats, pillows, and small devices he borrowed from the science lab. Zyra practiced her ritual in the space, and for the first time, a surge occurred without chaos. Papers stayed on the desk, lights flickered gently, and the air pulsed with controlled energy. You helped me master it, Zyra said softly, glowing brighter than usual. You extraordinary. Eli smiled, feeling a warm pride. We did it. Together. That night, Eli lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. The room was peaceful, the golden glow of Zyra's skin soft and steady. He realized how much he had learned, not just about alien biology, but about human strength. Humans could observe, think, and solve problems creatively, They could adapt to chaos and help others in ways that other species sometimes could not. And as he drifted to sleep, Eli knew this semester would be filled with challenges, excitement, and growth. Living with Zira during her mating season was chaotic, yes, but it was also a chance to learn, adapt, and prove what humans were truly capable of, because humans were clever, humans were adaptable, and humans could handle almost anything. Eli woke to a low humming vibration that filled the dorm room. At first he thought it was another one of Zira's surges, but the feeling was different, more organized, almost deliberate. He rubbed his eyes and noticed a faint shimmer near the ceiling, a golden light that pulsed rhythmically. Zira was already standing in the center of the room, her hands glowing with soft golden light. "Eli, we have visitors," she said, her melodic voice calm but alert. "Visitors? Like other students?" Eli asked, sitting up. Zira's eyes glimmered. "Not human, they are from Veora, my kin. Come to guide me." Eli's stomach tightened. The idea of more aliens entering the room during Zira's mating season made him nervous. But he forced a calm smile. "Okay, visitors. We can handle that." A sudden flash of light filled the room and 3 figures appeared. They were similar to Zira, but taller and more regal. Their skin shimmered with faint silver-blue tones, and their eyes glowed like molten gold. They moved gracefully, almost floating, and their presence made the air vibrate softly. Zira, the tallest of the 3, said, his voice deep and resonant, "You are in danger of destabilizing your surroundings. We have come to guide you through the mating season." Zira bowed slightly. "I appreciate your concern, but I am managing. With assistance." She glanced at Eli. "This human helps me." The tallest visitor's eyes widened slightly. "A human helping you? Extraordinary. Your species. Remarkable." Eli's ears warmed. Thank you," he said, unsure how to respond to such awe. The visitors floated closer, scanning the room. Papers hovered gently. A coffee cup spun slowly on the desk, and Zira's energy pulses created soft, glowing arcs in the air. Eli realized that the other aliens were studying not just Zira, but him as well. "You adapt quickly," the second visitor said. "Humans think differently. You observe, analyze, stabilize." Eli nodded, still holding a floating notebook in one hand. "I guess humans can handle chaos pretty well." The visitors seemed impressed. "Your species. Curious, clever, resourceful," the third one said. "You help us see solutions we may not expect." Zira's energy pulsed brightly, clearly excited by their presence. "Eli taught me." Calm focus stabilized. Together, we succeed. The tallest visitor studied Eli carefully. "Your mind? Your reasoning? It complements her instincts. Remarkable." Eli smiled nervously. "I just try to help." For the next hour, the dorm room became a place of careful cooperation. The visitors moved with grace, observing Zira's energy and guiding her through minor surges. Eli assisted by predicting her patterns, moving floating objects back to safe positions and matching the rhythm of Zira's gestures. Despite the chaos, something amazing happened. The visitors began to comment on humans' unique strengths, the ability to improvise, think quickly, and solve problems with limited tools. Zira's species, while powerful, relied more on instinct and ritual. Humans brought creativity and adaptability that Zira's kin had rarely seen in action. "You think outside expected patterns," the tallest visitor said. "Your solutions, effective, elegant." Eli's chest swelled with pride. Humans could solve problems even in alien environments. Even Zira's powerful mating energy, something her species considered difficult to control, could be managed with careful observation and clever thinking. But then, a larger surge began. Zira's golden energy flared, expanding rapidly and filling the room with a soft hum. Papers spun like tiny satellites. Light arcs danced across the walls, and the furniture shivered slightly as if the room itself were breathing. "We must contain it," Zira said, her voice strained. Eli froze for a second. The surge was stronger than any they had faced together before. But then he remembered his previous successes. He took a deep breath, studied Zira's movements, and mirrored them as precisely as he could. At the same time, he moved quickly to reposition floating objects, creating safe spaces around the room. The visitors joined in. One extended a hand, guiding the energy with soft arcs of light. Another stabilized the floating objects with a gentle mental push. Together, humans and aliens worked in harmony, containing the surge until it slowly subsided. Zyra's breathing slowed, her energy dimmed to a soft, steady glow. She looked at Eli with amazement. You? Extraordinary, human. Extraordinary. The tallest visitor nodded solemnly. Indeed, your species. Remarkable. Calm, intelligent, adaptable. Unexpected, Eli chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. Thanks. I think humans can handle almost anything. For the next few days, the visitors stayed nearby, observing Eli and Zyra as they learned to work together. Eli realized that the aliens were not only studying Zyra's mating season, they were also studying him. Humans' ability to adapt, improvise, and solve problems creatively impressed them in ways he had never imagined. One evening, Zyra approached him with a small smile. Eli, your presence stabilizes me. The visitors appreciate your thinking. You help me more than expected, Eli grinned. I'm just doing what humans do best, problem solving. Zyra's glow brightened. Problem solving? Yes, humans. Exceptional. The visitors eventually returned to their ship, leaving Eli and Zyra alone in the dorm. Before leaving, the tallest one spoke directly to Eli. You, remarkable humans, we will remember. Your creativity, your courage, impressive. Protect her, guide her, as you have done. Eli nodded seriously. I will. Don't worry. As the dorm room settled into calm, Eli realized something important. Human strengths, creativity, adaptability, courage were not just useful on Earth, they were valuable across the universe. Even in the midst of alien chaos, humans could make a difference. Zyra's energy pulsed softly beside him. Eli, you, extraordinary, you, my guide, my support, my friend, Eli smiled. And you, my friend too, Zyra. Humans and aliens, we can do amazing things together. That night, Eli lay in bed, staring at the soft glow of Zyra's energy. The room was quiet except for the faint hum of residual energy in the air. He felt proud not just of himself but of humanity. Humans could face chaos, adapt and find solutions where others might fail. They were clever, resourceful, and capable of surprising even the most advanced alien species. And as he drifted to sleep, Eli knew one thing for certain. The semester ahead would be full of challenges, surprises, and adventures. But humans were ready. Humans could adapt, learn, and shine, even in the heart of alien chaos. Because despite the energy surges, unexpected visitors, and strange rituals, Eli had learned a truth he would never forget. Humans were extraordinary. Humans could handle almost anything. The morning sunlight spilled through the dorm window, but Eli barely noticed it. His mind was focused entirely on Zyra. Over the past few days, he had learned to predict her surges, anticipate her energy fluctuations, and help her through minor rituals. But today felt different. He sensed a tension in the air, a faint hum that seemed more urgent than usual. Zyra stood in the center of the room, glowing faintly gold. Her hands traced precise, flowing patterns in the air, leaving trails of shimmering light. Eli, today. Energy. Peak. I cannot contain it alone, she said softly. Eli's heart raced. He had anticipated surges before, but this was something larger. Her glow pulsed faster, brighter, and more erratically. Papers lifted from desks, pencils spun through the air, and the faint hum grew louder. The walls themselves seemed to vibrate with energy. Okay, Eli said, taking a deep breath. We've handled surges before. We can do this. Together. Zyra's golden eyes met his, and he could see both fear and trust reflected there. Together, yes, humans. Extraordinary. Eli felt a surge of pride, but there was no time for celebration. He immediately began organizing the room, moving objects into safe zones, stacking mats and pillows to prevent damage, and positioning small gadgets to help stabilize the energy. The first burst of Zyra's energy exploded through the room. Light arcs filled the air and the papers spun like tiny satellites. Eli mirrored Zyra's hand movements, matching her rhythm, while carefully guiding the objects back into place. He had learned to anticipate the flow of her energy, but this surge was stronger than any before. Zyra's voice rang out, melodic and strained. Eli. Focus, synchronize. Our energy. Stabilize. Eli concentrated, thinking of every technique he had learned. He matched her hand movements, mirrored the energy pulses, and even used his own calm presence to counteract the chaotic surge. Slowly, the room began to respond. The spinning papers stabilized, the glowing arcs softened, and the hum decreased slightly. But then the surge grew again, stronger than before. The room shook as Zyra's energy expanded outward uncontrollably. "Eli, this, too strong, I cannot contain it," she shouted. Eli's mind raced. He had to think quickly. "Okay, humans solve problems under pressure," he muttered to himself. He grabbed a small metallic frame from the corner of the room and positioned it near Zyra. Then he used the gadgets and mats to create a circular energy barrier. The frame acted as a conduit, channeling some of Zyra's energy safely away from fragile objects. Zyra's eyes widened. "Your ingenuity helps human." "Remarkable." Eli focused even harder. He began coordinating with Zyra in perfect sync, mirroring her movements, following the rhythm of her energy pulses and guiding the energy into the barrier. Slowly but surely, the chaotic surge began to stabilize. The golden light dimmed to a soft glow. The spinning papers returned gently to their desks, and the hum in the room faded into a quiet vibration. Zyra collapsed to her knees, exhausted, but glowing softly. "Eli, you, extraordinary. You, humans, clever. Adept. You, saved balance." Eli smiled, trying to catch his own breath. "We did it. Together." But the challenge was not over. The surge had left residual energy in the room, and small flickers continued to pulse unpredictably. Eli quickly moved to adjust the gadgets and mats, creating channels to safely absorb any lingering energy. Zyra followed his movements, her hands tracing soft arcs in the air to direct the flow. As they worked, Eli noticed something remarkable. Humans' ability to observe, analyze, and improvise was proving invaluable. He was using tools Zyra's species rarely thought to employ, combining technology, logic, and calm presence in ways that made the energy manageable. "You, humans, exceptional," Zyra said softly, her voice full of admiration. "Your thinking adapts where instinct alone." "Insufficient," Eli laughed softly. "I guess humans can handle almost anything." The surge finally subsided completely, leaving the room calm and peaceful. Zyra's glow returned to its normal soft golden hue. She looked at Eli with warmth and gratitude. "You guided me through peak energy. My species rarely experiences such cooperation. Humans, remarkable." Eli felt a sense of pride he had never experienced before. He had helped an alien through the most critical moment of her mating season, using human creativity, courage, and adaptability. Zyra's species had power, beauty, and tradition, but humans had problem-solving skills, patience, and ingenuity that could match or even exceed expectations. Just as Eli was catching his breath, the door chimed. He tensed, expecting another surge, but it was a message from the university security system. "Dorm energy levels returning to normal. No structural damage detected. Please report unusual activity." Eli chuckled. "Well, that's reassuring." Zyra floated beside him, her golden glow soft. "Your species, extraordinary. You, humans, think differently and adapt. I'm grateful for your presence," Eli smiled. "And I'm grateful for your trust, Zyra. We make a good team." Over the next few days, Eli and Zyra reflected on their cooperation. They continued to practice her rituals in the safe space they had created, gradually increasing her control over the energy. Each surge became easier to manage, each ritual more precise. Eli found joy in observing, predicting, and guiding the energy flow, while Zyra found comfort in his calm presence and clever solutions. One evening, Zyra floated closer, her hands trailing soft golden arcs in the air. "Eli, you taught me patience, focus, calm. Your species, incredible. We learn from each other. Extraordinary." Eli smiled, feeling a warm sense of accomplishment. "I guess humans are pretty good at learning too." Zyra's laughter filled the room, soft and melodic. "Yes, humans adapt, clever, solve impossible problems. You, my guide, my friend." That night, as Eli lay on his bed staring at the ceiling, he realized something profound. Humans' greatest strength was not raw power, speed, or technology alone. It was the ability to think, adapt, and create solutions in unexpected situations. Even in a room filled with alien energy surges, floating objects, and glowing light, humans could observe, understand, and act effectively. Zyra's soft hum beside him reminded him of the trust they had built. He had helped her through the peak of her mating season, using ingenuity, patience, and courage. Humans could not only survive chaos, they could guide it, shape it, and even turn it into something manageable. Eli felt proud, not just of himself, but of humanity. Humans could face challenges other species might find impossible. They could adapt, learn, and rise to meet extraordinary circumstances. And in doing so, they could earn respect, trust, and even friendship from beings across the stars. As he drifted to sleep, Eli knew that this was only the beginning. The semester would bring more challenges, more surprises, and more adventures. But he felt confident. Humans were clever, resourceful, and capable. And humans could handle almost anything, because today he had seen it firsthand. Humans could calm chaos, solve impossible problems, and even guide powerful alien energy through sheer ingenuity and cooperation, and that was just the beginning of what they could achieve. The morning sun shone brightly through the dorm window, casting warm light across the room. For the first time in weeks, the air felt calm. The residual energy from Zyra's mating season had faded completely, and the hum of power that had filled the room was gone. Eli sat on his bed, stretching, and felt a deep sense of relief. The chaos had ended. Zyra floated gracefully across the room, her pale blue skin glowing softly. She looked at Eli, her golden eyes full of warmth and gratitude. Eli, energy stabilized. Mating season. Complete, Eli grinned. You did it, Zyra. We did it together. No floating notebooks, no spinning utensils, no glowing arcs of chaos. Zyra's soft laugh filled the room. Yes, we managed. Your presence. Remarkable. You, humans. Extraordinary, Eli chuckled. I guess humans can handle almost anything. For the first time in weeks, the dorm felt peaceful. The air was still. Objects rested quietly on their surfaces, and even the faint golden glow that sometimes lingered around Zyra was now gentle and calm. It was a moment of quiet victory, both for Zyra, who had survived the peak of her mating season, and for Eli, who had proven the ingenuity and adaptability of humans. The university had officially lifted the dorm quarantine. Notices appeared in the common areas, informing students that the energy surges had subsided and that the room was safe. Other students, human and alien alike, were curious to hear how Eli had helped Zyra through the process. By midday, a small group had gathered outside the dorm, peeking in with cautious curiosity. Eli explained the situation calmly, describing the challenges of Zyra's mating season and the measures he had taken to help stabilize her energy. He spoke about the patterns, the rituals, and the techniques he had used, and the audience listened in awe. You think creatively, adapt, solve problems, one of the visiting aliens said, whispering to another. Humans, exceptional. Eli smiled quietly. He had never thought of humans this way before, but now he understood. Humans were clever, resourceful, and capable of managing situations that others might consider impossible. He had just experienced it firsthand. Zyra floated beside him, glowing softly. Your species. Incredible. You helped me. Beyond expectation. Humans. Clever, adaptable, worthy of trust. Eli placed a hand gently on the glowing arc of her energy. And you, Zyra, taught me patience, observation, and understanding. We learned from each other. Over the next few days, Eli and Zyra continued to adjust to normal life. Zyra's energy was now calm and predictable, and the rituals that had once caused chaos now became gentle exercises of focus and harmony. The dorm had returned to a safe, peaceful space, and life resumed its usual rhythm. Despite the calm, Eli noticed subtle changes. Zyra's movements were more relaxed, her glow softer, and her interactions with humans more open. She smiled more often, and her golden eyes shone with trust and friendship. Eli realized that their teamwork had strengthened not only her control over her energy, but also their bond. One afternoon, Zyra floated to the window, gazing at the sunlit campus. Eli, humans, remarkable. You, courage, curiosity, cleverness, inspire my species. Learned from you. Eli leaned back on his bed, smiling. I guess humans have a lot to offer. Not just technology or strength, but ideas, adaptability, and teamwork. Zyra nodded slowly. Yeah, your species inspires humans. Exceptional. I'm grateful for your guidance, your calm, your trust. The moment was quiet, peaceful, and full of mutual respect. Eli understood that this experience had changed him. He had not only helped an alien through a critical stage of life, but he had also learned what made humans special. Observation, creativity, patience, and problem-solving were qualities that could thrive anywhere, even across the stars. Later that week, Zyra invited Eli to participate in a simple Vaoran ritual, a small ceremony symbolizing friendship and trust. The ritual was beautiful, calm, and full of soft, glowing light. Zyra's energy pulsed gently around them as she guided him through the steps. "You share in this ritual," Zyra said softly. "You, my friend, humans, capable of connection, understanding, cooperation. Remarkable." Eli followed her movements carefully, feeling the gentle flow of energy and the rhythm of the ritual. It was a moment of harmony and celebration. The chaos of the past weeks had been replaced with peace, understanding, and friendship. "You know," Eli said, smiling as he mimicked her hand movements, "humans can handle almost anything, but we also value friendship and trust. It seems that matters as much as problem-solving." Zyra tilted her head, her golden eyes glowing softly. "Yes, humans. Clever, adaptable, and compassionate. You, my guide, my friend. You, extraordinary." Word spread quickly across the university about Eli's role in helping Zyra manage her mating season. Students, both human and alien, admired his ingenuity and calm presence. Some came to ask questions, others simply to watch the rituals and see the results of his teamwork with Zyra. Eli realized that humans' strengths went beyond survival or intelligence. They could inspire trust, cooperation, and admiration even from alien species. That thought filled him with pride. Humans could create solutions where others might fail, adapt to challenges that seemed impossible, and connect with beings from entirely different worlds. As the semester progressed, Eli and Zyra became inseparable friends. They studied together, shared meals, and practiced minor rituals to maintain her energy control. The dorm, once a place of chaos and floating objects, had transformed into a harmonious space of learning, cooperation, and mutual respect. One evening, Eli and Zyra sat on the dorm roof gazing at the stars. The campus was quiet, and the soft glow of the city lights reflected in Zyra's shimmering hair. "Eli, humans, incredible," Zyra said softly. "Your species. Capable, clever, adaptable. You taught me calm, focus, cooperation. My species. Impressed." Eli smiled, feeling a warm sense of pride. "And you, Zyra, taught me patience, observation, and understanding. Humans are strong, but we're also capable of friendship, empathy, and teamwork. That makes us special too." Zyra's golden eyes glimmered. "Yes, humans. Special. Grateful. For your presence, your guidance, your friendship." Eli laughed softly. "I'm grateful too. Who would have thought that a human and an alien could get through something like this together?" The stars twinkled above them, silent witnesses to the bond that had formed between two very different beings. Eli realized that humans' ingenuity, adaptability, and courage had not only helped stabilize Zyra's energy, but had also created a bridge between species, a connection built on trust, problem-solving, and mutual respect. And as he watched the night sky, he knew one thing for certain: humans were capable of extraordinary things. They could face chaos, solve impossible problems, and even inspire admiration across the stars. Humans were clever, resourceful, and adaptable. Humans could handle almost anything, and in doing so they could create lasting friendships, even with beings from entirely different worlds. Zyra's soft hum filled the air as they sat together, a gentle reminder of the trust and harmony they had achieved. Eli felt proud not just for himself but for humanity. Humans could face challenges that seemed impossible, adapt to the unknown, and shine even in the most extraordinary circumstances. And in that quiet moment on the dorm roof, Eli knew that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of challenges, surprises, and opportunities, but humans were ready. Humans could adapt, learn, and thrive. Humans could handle almost anything and make a difference wherever they went. Zyra reached out a glowing hand, and Eli took it, feeling the soft warmth of her energy. "Together, we—" "Extraordinary," she said. Eli nodded, smiling. "Yes, Zyra, together." "Extraordinary." And as they looked up at the stars, Eli felt a deep certainty in his heart. Humans were special, capable, and brilliant. They could face any challenge, solve any problem, and inspire others along the way. And in that moment, under the endless night sky, Eli realized that humans truly were extraordinary. Heroes not just of Earth, but of the universe.